Hello, fellow Cules. I'm Pedro, a Barcelona supporter just like you, and in this video, I bring you a huge revelation about our beloved club. Like it now, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, because what I'm about to tell you is not just another transfer rumor. It's one of those stories that gives you goosebumps, one that you almost whisper as if you're part of a secret meeting in a closed room at the heart of Camp Nou, where every word carries weight and every gesture seems to herald a change of era. We're not talking about a simple rumor or a summer whim. What we're discussing here is a name that evokes history, great nights, last-minute goals that are forever etched in the memory of football. Harry Kane. It was a late summer afternoon, one of those where the heat is no longer stifling and the Mediterranean breeze caresses the streets like a secret shared between the city and the sea. The windows of the presidential office were open, letting in the distant murmur of tourists and engines. But inside, the atmosphere was different, charged, tense, as if the walls knew that an important decision was about to be made. Joan Laporta, looking serious, was seated in his leather chair, leaning over a thick folder on the table. On the cover, written in large black letters, was the name of the English striker. The afternoon light streamed in through the window, illuminating the paper as if the sun itself wanted to read this report. Hansi Flick, standing by the window, looked out at the city, his hands behind his back, his chin slightly tilted down, that posture that coaches take when they have already imagined every possible move. His gaze was lost in the distance, but in his mind, the images were clear. A precise cross from the side, the Englishman controlling the ball with his back to the goal, pivoting, shooting without hesitation. "Goal, President," Flick said, breaking the silence with a grave but calm voice. "There aren't many like him. If we manage to get him to wear our jersey, it will change the way we play. And I'm not just talking about goals. I'm talking about mentality, about conveying to this locker room that every second counts, that every ball can be the last one." Laporta, who hadn't taken his eyes off the name for several minutes, slowly closed the folder with a slowness that makes you understand that what you have in your hands is pure gold. "It's an expensive dream," he admitted, looking at Flick. "But dreams, when they are like this one, are worth it." It wasn't the first time Harry Kane's name had appeared on Barcelona's radar, but this time there was a new detail, a small breach, a special clause in his contract with Bayern Munich that would activate in 2026. A legal window that, for a brief moment, would open the door to one of the most formidable strikers of the last decade. A crack in the Bavarian wall, invisible to the common eye, but detected by Barcelona's sporting management like a hawk detects a slight movement in the bushes. In the locker room, although no one confirmed it publicly, conversations had already begun. In a corner, PEDRI leaned down to tie his shoes while GAVI, with a half-smile, listened to him. "Imagine, brother, a pass into space and him alone in front of the goalkeeper. He doesn't miss," PEDRI said. GAVI let out a short laugh, but his gaze was serious. "With him, we wouldn't have to suffer so much to close out matches. He's the kind of player who, if you give him half a chance, puts it in the back of the net." Harry Kane is not just a scorer. He's a Swiss clock in the box, a man who understands time like few others, when to slow down, when to accelerate, when to release the ball to break the lines, and when to strike to finish. In England, he is a symbol. In Germany, he is feared, and in every corner of the planet where football is played, his name commands respect. Next season, we will still see him at the Allianz Arena, but the possibility of his arrival in 2026 has sparked a flame in the hearts of Barcelona supporters. Can you imagine him at Camp Nou? With the perfectly mowed lawn and the blue sky of the city as a witness, receiving a pinpoint pass from LAMINE YAMAL, controlling it softly, pivoting, and placing the ball in the top corner, unstoppable for any goalkeeper. The stadium exploding in a deafening roar. Kane raising his fist, his teammates hugging him as the supporters chant his name in unison. Laporta knows that this is not just a sporting operation, it's a declaration of intent, a message to the world. Barcelona wants to become dominant again, wants to combine the freshness of its young talents with the experience of a goal-area predator. Flick, for his part, sees Kane as the piece that would fit perfectly into his plan, a player capable of dropping into midfield to link up, creating spaces, and at the same time, the man who, in a single action, can silence any defense. The path will not be simple. It will require planning with surgical precision, adjusting salaries, forecasting bonuses, and conducting negotiations that are not won in a day. But sometimes the risk is justified, because Kane is not just any striker. He is one of those who transform a good team into a championship-winning team. I remember him at Wembley that night when he scored in the 90th minute. I remember the icy silence of the opposing team, the trembling in the stands, the final explosion. When the net shook, I remember his cold, determined face, like a man who already knew he was going to score before even receiving the ball. That's what he would bring here. That's what we lack on the nights when titles are decided by a detail. In Kane's circle, the 2026 clause is already ringing like an opportunity for a new challenge. Perhaps a change of league, perhaps a last great challenge before his best years fade away. And if there's a place capable of offering him that epic chapter his career deserves, it's Barcelona. Because here, we don't just play football. Here, we write history. That's why, as a Cule, I say it without fear. Yes, I want Harry Kane at Barcelona. I want our young players to grow up watching him train, to learn from his instinct, to feel that every match can be decided until the last second. I want to see him wear the Blaugrana jersey and hear Camp Nou shout his name in an echo that will resonate throughout the city. And I ask you, Cule, can you imagine it, Harry Kane lifting trophies under our sky, in the heart of our beloved Camp Nou? Seeing him share the locker room with our young talents, passing on that thirst for victory, that determination that makes great champions. Imagine him, in the 90th minute, facing our eternal rival, receiving that decisive ball, that moment when time seems to stop, and then, the net shakes, the stadium explodes, and Kane, our Kane, turning his arms to the sky as if to thank the stars for that moment of pure football magic. Camp Nou in a frenzy, the supporters in ecstasy, and him, at the center of it all, instantly becoming a legend, a hero, a symbol of this new era of glory for Barcelona. Tears of joy, chants echoing through the Barcelona night, and that indescribable feeling of being part of something much bigger than ourselves. Do you think it's worth preparing the ground now, sowing the seeds of this dream so that, in a few years, this story becomes a reality? 2026 seems far away, but in the world of football, time flies at a crazy speed. Great projects, the wildest dreams, require solid foundations, a clear vision, and unwavering determination. Every detail counts. Every decision made today brings us a little closer to that desired future. This transfer, if it happens, could well be one of those pivotal moments that, years later, we will remember by saying, that's where it all started. That moment when Barcelona found its place at the top again, when a generation of supporters' dreams came true, when the history of the club took a decisive turn. Every step forward, every effort, every sacrifice made for this common dream brings us closer to this vision. And it is together, united under the colors of Barcelona, that we will be able to write this new page in our history. A story where, thanks to our passion, our determination, and our love for this club, we have seen the impossible become possible. And if it happens, I want you to be able to say that you were there, from the beginning, that you believed in this dream even before it came true. That you were part of those thousands of voices that supported, hoped, dreamed, and that, together, turned this vision into reality. So, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to tell the world that you are part of this story, that you are a true Cule, a dreamer, a believer. Share this dream with your friends, your family, all those who, like you, vibrate to the rhythm of Barcelona. Talk about this vision, this hope, and make sure everyone knows that Barcelona is about to experience something extraordinary. Let's dream together, because sometimes the wildest dreams are the ones that come true, and this one, believe me, has the potential to change everything. Together, let's do more than dream. Let's prepare for the future, and who knows? Maybe in a few years, we will remember this moment as the one where everything changed, where Barcelona began to write a new page in its legendary history. A page where, thanks to our passion, our determination, and our love for this club, we saw the impossible become possible, and where, once again, Barcelona became the beacon of world football. A page where the young talents of the club grew up in the shadow of Kane, learning from him, inspired by him, and becoming, in their turn, football legends. A page where, together, we experienced moments of pure happiness, unmatched joy, and where we could say, proudly, that we were there, from the beginning, and that we were part of this incredible story.